Hey there, kids. It's me, Oni the Unicorn. And I'm here to tell you that f***ing your dreams ain't cheap. In fact, it costs a ton of cash to do. So that's why me and the Ohno radio show need your help. Just go to the website displayed below and hit us up with some cash, yo. $1, $5, fuck, $1 million if you have it to spare. Any amount is appreciated. Well, I gotta go because these dreams ain't gonna fuck themselves. See ya!
Welcome back once again to the Ohno Wrestling Podcast. Yes, that is correct. Your Sharp Break Kid Owen is here once again, along with, oh my gosh, is that our champion? The Captain King of Bong Style?
Well, buddy, let me tell ya, I've been hanging out with my old cousin Six. And he's been a hell of an influence on me, let me tell you. I took this hat right off his hip, bald ass head, put it on my bald ass head.
Good to have you, Sex. It's about time that we had some sex on the show. As
right,
everybody
buddy.
knows, sex sells. Sex sells. That's what we're doing here. And with us, a guy that is, of course, a big part of our show each and every week when he can make it. But last week he was unavailable, and this week he's back again, though. Ladies and gentlemen, it's the one, the only modern-day Maharaja, Matthew. How you doing, my friend?
Drink it in, man. Here I am.
Dude, we got
coming from Denver, Colorado this week.
That's wow.
The snaps.
You're actually at home, but not at home. You're in an office in the city of your home, which is, I guess, a little bit better than being in the Ramada or whatever the hell it is.
The Chateau Ramada.
I was ready to come at you from I don't know where the fuck I was saying last week. I was ready on Tuesday night. I was in Kansas City. That's where I was.
Ah, yeah. Power and Light District.
Yeah. Missouri, not Kansas. It's fucking don't go to Kansas City, Kansas.
No,
Kansas
never
City,
go to
Missouri.
Kansas City, Kansas.
I thought they were like the same thing. I don't know. Explain to me this.
There's a Kansas City, Kansas, and a Kansas City, Missouri.
Which one's the good
way
one?
Cooler.
Which one's the
And
good
they're
one?
both on the border, so like they're right next to each other.
That's the Twin Cities, yeah? Do they
No,
call
the
it
Twin
that?
Cities are Minneapolis and St. Paul.
I don't fucking know, America. I don't know.
Don't worry. You've only been living here for like, I don't know, 25 years or something. That's fine.
Something like that. Actually, longer. Longer, yeah. 28, something like that.
I was going to say longer than you lived.
Way longer.
It's all right. I go to the Northwest now. The Northeast. And I'm like, wait, this is here? I'm like, what the fuck? I'm like, this is
Oh,
weird.
God.
Yeah.
Like
It's all
Vermont
jammed up
and
there. Yeah, I'm like,
Connecticut.
Rhode Island's where? Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Rhode Island's
Well,
as
no one
big
gives
as...
a fuck about Rhode Island. So
Nope, you're right.
Yeah, Rhode Island. That's not a place that I don't think any of us ever need to go unless
Been
we-
there. Matthew and I have been there. It's terrible.
Yeah.
It's very racist, surprisingly.
Really?
Oh, well, I mean, some parts of it. Providence can be very racist.
Ooh, wow. Well, we'll get things
Starting it off on a
on a
positive
very
Yeah.
positive note.
fuck you, Rhode Island.
But there's,
Suck it.
I guess, while we're talking about racial sensitivities and that type of thing, we can hop.
Oh, yeah, let me put on my
Your intelligent
proper
glasses.
for this.
Yeah. I'm
going to leave the hat on.
Well, I figured we talk a little bit about not only a big return, potential big return for a WWE superstar, but somebody who, as of I believe today, had to make a huge apology to the country of China, and that is our one John Cena. And if you don't know what we're talking about, I forgot the original context. Was it in an interview that he said what he said? Or was it a tweet?
I don't know about John. I thought we were talking about CM Punk, who changed his bio to be something that would also offend China.
Well, this is why. That's why he
Taiwan
made the
was
tweet.
A country.
Yes. So Cena said that Taiwan was a country in an interview or some press thing. And of course, with his relationship with China and all the stuff they've got going on, like he's filming movies there, like he's learned Mandarin. There's all sorts of connections with, I believe, the WWE and China, and Cena is that mouthpiece or figurehead, if you want to call it that. So real close relations with Cena and China. Now, if you don't know anything about what they believe, they do not believe that Taiwan is its own country. They want to claim, they want to claim Taiwan as part of China.
Taiwan is part of.
So I believe it was probably an earnest mistake on Cena's part by saying something along the lines of, thanking Taiwan, the country of Taiwan or something. He then had to go and tweet and apologize to the country of China for saying that Taiwan was a country, for offending China. Now he's pulled back. Now, a lot of us in the Western world, I believe, on your more progressive side of thinking, would consider Taiwan a country. And I believe what CM Punk put as his new bio was what the same thing that the Bucks did, and the Bucks essentially said Taiwan is a country, as basically. It's kind of a fuck you and anti-WWE sort of sentiment in a roundabout way, or a kind of a Cena, you fucked up, kind of thing. What are your general thoughts on this whole mess? It's tough, I know. We're not exactly political correspondents, and it's a little outside of our wheelhouse. But it does, I think, require us to mention it.
No, I don't necessarily think it's outside of our wheelhouse. I think it's sort of ridiculous that we're still tiptoeing around this issue that fucking Taiwan isn't a goddamn country.
Sure.
Yeah.
Well, it's political tensions that have gone back years and years, and it's part of our relationship, I would believe, with China, and this whole it's tippy-toeing. It's kind of
I think that's the thing. It's the relationship with China. You just hit the nail on the fucking head. It is what it is. Taiwan is a country, but because of the relationship with China, and because China believes that Taiwan is a part of China,
correct?
That's how you say it. Then apparently the rest of the world is just supposed to fucking think that way because, China's got billions of people and they're a fucking superpower.
Yeah.
I guess.
That's the whole thing is WWE is making him walk it back because they have done tours in China. They want to continue doing tours in China.
I think it's a territory they desperately want to crack, much like India. It's the new place that they really want to establish some sort of dominance. I don't think you can, with everything said, though, I do think it was a very probably off the cuff, earnest, innocent sort of moment by Cena. But he was damned if he did, damned if he didn't. No matter how you look at this, he's screwed in saying it either way, just because of the position that he's in.
And who knows? I might catch a lot of flack for this, but I don't think so. To our millions and millions of listeners around the world, but when you get fucking toys and t-shirts and shit like that, some of them say made in China. Some of them say made in Taiwan. If Taiwan was a part of China, it would say fucking made in China, because it doesn't tell me what province in China the shit's being made in. It just says China.
Yeah. That's a really good point, and I can't believe. Any of the Chinese junk that you get off of Alibaba or wherever the hell you're buying stupid shit off the internet, right? It is true that ever since
Or
I was a
Wish,
kid,
or-
like Wish or whatever. Some of it says China. You're right. Some of it says Taiwan. Wrestling or not wrestling, like it's another huge manufacturer.
Yeah, anything that's made
of-
anywhere.
If
right?
if they make plastic, they
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, he's looking at the AEW figures, see where they're made. That's a good call. Is your-
Vietnam.
Made in China.
Made in China. Orange Cassidy, made in China.
Orange Cassidy, made in China. Freshly squoze and mainly in China.
So, with that being said, Cena has on his Instagram a couple times over the last few weeks, I believe, kind of teased a WWE return in a sense. Now, we could be reading more into that or I could be than there is truth, because we know
Cena's a giant ass troll. We
Cena
know that.
loves to trolls on the Instas, and he likes to play around, and that is
He trolls on Insta. He's serious on Twitter.
Yeah, I think that's probably pretty accurate. But he did post, a big WWE logo, and he's, there's a lot of talk that he would be if, with them kicking off this huge tour with the I guess rumored, or I don't know, I think that's confirmed, right? The first day back in front of fans is going to be on God, I forgot the date already, but I believe
July
16th.
16th. Yeah.
So that is the SmackDown, right? That's the Friday SmackDown prior to Money in the Bank, is I believe what I read.
Yep.
So
the
the
16th
last
is the SmackDown, and then the 18th
Sure.
is Money in the Bank, 19th is Raw.
Now this is where it gets interesting. Cena would be a perfect addition as a person to come back for that SmackDown, in my opinion. Huge draw for Fox, who want obviously all the numbers. Also, that's totally a way to do it. And I think Cena has hinted at this over the years anyway, or ever since we've seen him. I don't think Cena's not done in the ring completely yet, in my opinion. And this would be a perfect, with fans back in attendance, which we'll talk about later. But in my opinion, Cena coming back at this event would be very appropriate. What if that is the case, and we can talk about how else you could possibly bring him back as well, but if that is the case and he comes back on SmackDown, what do you guys have him do?
I mean, I think it's fairly obvious. He kicks off Legends Night. I mean, the Legends Night 25 night Legends Night tour.
And that's where I hope you're wrong, in a sense, because I feel like they could do something so much, and Cena could do something so much more than a Legends Night.
He definitely. No, I was gonna say he could. I think the sort of obvious is you set him up with Roman.
I mean, you go that serious with it. I mean,
I think we talked about this a couple of podcasts ago, which also kudos on your guys' podcast on Friday, I believe it was.
Yeah.
I listened to a good show.
Thank you.
But I think a couple of weeks ago we did talk a little bit about this, but I think it's almost a little more confirmed without it being confirmed now, when there's now the reports coming out about the filming for the movies is ending on the 9th or something like that. It's ending right before, so it kind of frees him up. So I think if you were to do it, you have to bring him back. You can't just you can't do a thing with Elias or
I think
whatever.
You need to. I think whatever you do, whoever you pair him with, he has to have somewhat of a mini wrestling run, not back full time, but he has to have a real good feud with somebody, right?
Yeah,
he
has to be a legit part-time run.
And with that, could
you see him and Edge doing something?
He is the second name that I wanted to bring back because he's been rumored as coming back as well. And I tell you why I think that both works and doesn't work at the same time. I can make argues for both. But before we talk about that, what does Cena acknowledge the Funhouse thing? Do we?
Well, I think that that's a extremely appropriate question because they have fucking shit the bed on the Fiend.
Yeah.
And they either need to fucking, at least for me, in my opinion, they need to fucking cut ties and fucking figure something out, and like something else out for Bray Wyatt, which is very sad because this was such a good fucking thing.
So promising,
right?
So promising in the beginning.
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
So promising in the beginning.
We
right?
all loved
now,
it. It was one of the most badass return/entrances we've seen in years.
Yeah,
and then they set him on fire, and then he came out looking like fucking
crispy Fiend.
He was fried Fiend, but he looked like fucking muscle-bound Freddy Krueger with no knives for hands.
Yeah, yeah.
And then he does that morph on the way to the ring for that match. Then Alexa does that thing. Like, they've just dragged Alexa down now. Like, the whole thing just... I think if they're going to save the Fiend or be able to do something interesting with him, this would be the way
to do it. And I mean, with Cena, obviously I'm proposing he comes back on SmackDown just because I think it makes so much sense with the first show back. Bray is now, of course, on Raw, so that is a conflict there. But again, especially with a supernatural character like the Fiend, could he just pop up back on SmackDown and none of us like?
Has WWE ever needed an excuse to like just swap somebody brands? Yeah.
So I don't see that as like a complete hindrance, is I guess what I'm saying. But what do you do? Do you have a legitimate match, and then do you have the Fiend? Like, I mean, because here's what's gonna happen if Cena's back for any length of time. You'd kind of want Cena to win that match, but then Bray can't really lose that match to Cena. Like, so I don't know that you can really do that. I
mean, him and Reigns makes sense because I could see Cena putting Reigns over. It helps establish Reigns even more so as the fucking guy. Like, I think I actually said it on that podcast a few weeks ago, but it's like the head of the table in his yard, and fucking Cena's like, well, I fucking made this, right? Like, this is it. Like, you wouldn't be here without me, you know? Like, you can kind of go that route, you know?
You can.
And that kind of back and forth. And Roman's going to be the fucking heel, and Cena's going to be the fucking baby face, and Cena doesn't have to fucking win that.
No, I mean, I would argue that he has to lose that, quite, honestly. I think he has to lose that, and this would be a chance. So many times WWE, especially with Roman, have sort of tried to metaphorically, like, pass the torch.
Right.
And they failed at it. This could serve that well. This could actually feel, I think, like a real passing of the torch between Cena and Roman at the state of Roman's current career and the state of Cena's.
Especially because you take Cena where he is in his career as a legend, and you take Roman where he is at the moment in his career as the ultimate badass heel in WWE. And you have Cena come out and be like, look, you might be the head of the table, but
I'm the head of the company, or essentially.
Sure, or
I built the table.
Like Matthew said, be like, I built that table.
That's a really good line.
There's a really good way to do that and have that be, and have Cena cut some of those like more edgy promos that he can cut, and he's gonna be cheered no matter what.
Yeah.
So let him be sort of that. Almost a black hat baby face. You know what I mean? Like, instead of him being like the clear cut baby, he's like kind of an asshole, but Roman deserves it. And at the end of the day, Cena's still going to put him over because he understands and honestly, they can beat the hell out of him. And that's how Cena goes away to work on his next movie for a while.
That's a good point, and they also need something big for a few marquee events before we get to the inevitable, like, maybe Rock Roman thing down the line in, like, a couple of years,
Yeah, I think that happens in Hollywood. I don't think they
that would make complete
They're gonna
sense.
do that in Hollywood.
That would
yeah.
make complete sense for that to be the case. So you could even set up a small feud here now with Reigns that then culminates next year. Next year WrestleMania, you could possibly do that again in front of a WrestleMania crowd.
Sure.
Then there's possibilities of course, Brock is going to be a name that's thrown in there for every one of those.
Forever.
Yes. But with Cena returning possibly again right before, and again possibly not it's heavily rumored, but with Cena returning maybe on that SmackDown in front of Money in the Bank, could Cena insert himself in Money in the Bank and win it?
Hasn't he won Money in the Bank before? I don't really think it'd be shocking.
But do you think Cena's gonna? I mean, I'm not disagreeing with the logic there, but do you think that Cena is in the he's gonna go that far with it?
I don't look. I think the only way you put that on Cena is if he kind of fucks off with it for a while and you forget about it.
That's possible. But I also think we're talking right now, like immediately when we brought up Reigns Cena, we all said that, yeah, it would make sense for Reigns to beat Cena. But what if Cena could be the guy to topple Reigns? We're not looking at it now. Well, because this always happens to us though, too. If he were to win Money in the Bank, you would kind of have to assume that, wow, our interest would be more piqued, and there is a chance for that because Roman needs a foil. I'm not saying it should be, but Roman needs somebody that can actually get him, and he doesn't have that.
Yeah, I completely agree, but I think that you don't waste that on somebody who's already an established Hall of Famer.
That's fair. Would it be better served to be Big E, perhaps, or somebody that's an up and coming babyface? Yeah,
absolutely.
That is 100% the way I think it should be booked. But I also wouldn't put it past WWE to do something like that because it would need, because of how big Roman is now, the person that does topple Roman does have to feel big.
And that's why I think that whoever is going to topple Roman, they're going to significantly put time. I don't think they're going to use it to establish John Cena is. I don't think it's going to be LOL Cena wins.
No.
Do
you think fans would be behind Cena beating Roman or no? It's going to be a real 50-50, isn't it? I think we lost Matthew there. I don't know what's going on, but
I'm sure he'll let us know when to
he'll text me.
Hop back in.
It'll be okay.
Yeah. So I mean, I think they would buy it. Of course, Cena is a very believable foil for Roman.
Mm-hmm.
But I feel like that's so typical WWE, and it's such a waste of a potential to build somebody else.
I agree with you. I agree with you completely. The reason I think in this particular case that they will do it is because of the coming back from the pandemic and sort of doing a refresh, but a refresh back to old in a way, kind of hey, look, it's like the old days, or you know what I mean? That would be that's my weird logic with it. I know, fair enough that it might not make sense, but is he back?
I think the issue is, I think maybe, I think my biggest issue with that is that Cena isn't going to be around to carry the company on a full-time schedule.
Right.
So he sort of needs to be he is now a Brock Lesnar marquee attraction. So I think you need to keep him away from, I don't think he needs to win Money in the Bank. I think Roman and Cena have enough history, and Cena has enough clout that he can just sort of rock back up and be excuse me, I'm one championship win away from beating Ric Flair's record. You know, is he
Yeah.
tying or beating, whichever?
I think it's
So,
tying,
and he's
isn't
just
it?
like,
I think it's tying.
I think so.
I think it's tying.
Oh, man.
I think Cena's 15, Flair's 16. Isn't that the case? I feel like that's right. But then you've got Triple H and Orton that are right there too. Like that are like, if Triple H really wanted to do it, he could probably do it. You know, like with the. I don't think that does happen, but they could also
He
do
is
this.
tied with Ric Flair.
Currently tied.
Currently tied 16. They're both 16
wow.
times.
For some reason, I thought Cena was just one below, but all right. Thank you for
No, because I remember it was a big deal when he won it again, and everybody's like, "Oh shit, he's gonna beat Flair."
Now, yeah.
But now,
that
being the case,
right?
That's how you set up Cena Reigns for this coming WrestleMania in Dallas. Cena is trying to.
That's a really good point. That's a really good point. And he doesn't have to hold it long, but if you want to do that, I mean, even if he doesn't get it, it's still the story is there, regardless of if he wins it or not. That story is being told, which I'm not against. I'm really not against that.
I mean, that's sort of the long-term storytelling that we don't really get anymore.
No,
so.
and that would be good. And Roman is the perfect example right now of WWE doing long-term storytelling. They're doing it the best with him.
And Roman, if you do it that way, what if they make a huge event out of it that Cena's going and he could beat Ric Flair, he could get his 17th title, blah, blah. Roman's the dude who shuts him out.
Yeah.
Yeah, which makes, I mean, that furthers the legend of Roman even further.
Exactly.
You know?
And gives you time to, in 2 years, like, because I think if you're going to build to Rock and Roman at WrestleMania, the title does not need to be involved. The Rock
Absolutely not. Absolutely not. Nope, you're 100% right. That's a standalone match for head of the table that doesn't need a title anywhere near it.
Yep. So I think that if you take 2 years now to build up
that,
or build up somebody new.
Oh, yeah.
Whoever you think your next guy is, build up a bunch of people and see who fleshes out. Keep building Big E, keep building Alistair, keep building, like, bring Adam Cole up, build up Adam Cole. Like, there's so much potential on the roster. When Keith Lee is healthy again, have him come back into the picture. Like,
that's an interesting one with some of his tweets as of late. Like, it seems like there's something going on behind the scenes somehow. Like, something's going on somewhere with that whole situation.
Yeah, and
with Keith Lee. I don't know if it's a health thing. I mean, is that what we assume? Like, is it some?
I don't know. I guess
necessarily.
I don't really assume anything with it.
And we shouldn't.
It's more like, I don't know, like even Mia Yim today was responding to people's tweets. She's just like, really, what's happening is none of your business, and she's completely right.
Yep.
Wrestling fans are very entitled and very invasive. And we feel like we are owed all the explanations for everything. Not us personally, but a lot of wrestling fans are very much in that boat. So I think that the best thing for us to do is just be like, yo, whatever's going on, wish you the best. Positive energy towards that, and just carry on and be excited as hell when he shows up, hopefully with his old music again.
Let's hope for that. We were talking a little bit just a second ago about, Money in the Bank, but what's crazy is that before we even get there, we've got Hell in the Cell.
Oh, yes, we do.
And I believe they've already announced a match for that. That being
at least one,
but that being, and this kills me.
Don't say it.
Rhea Ripley versus
God damn
Charlotte Flair.
No,
I don't know if they've said it's in a cell. I think it is. For some reason, I think it will be if it's not announced yet.
Why wouldn't it fucking be?
But why wouldn't it be? And I've got a lot of worries right now for Rhea Ripley in a lot of ways.
Yeah.
It's
according to Wikipedia, it's only a singles match.
Okay.
They will make it.
they'll get
by
there.
The time.
Yeah, by the time it gets there, it feels like it would be like that.
Yeah.
That just makes sense. I don't think they've got faith in Rhea behind the scenes. I think
I've heard that a lot too, and it's really bothersome. But you're probably not wrong, because you look at how they refer to Bianca versus how they refer
it's
to
night and day. They
Completely.
night, day, and Bianca. They love and in fairness, Bianca's killing it because Bianca really hasn't had to change much either. Like she's developed this character, she's developed this persona. She went to the main. I always said when she was on NXT, like that she was a main roster, performer. Like she just has the vibe. Rhea, I thought the same thing, but maybe not quite as much. And the Rhea Ripley we've got on Monday Night Raw is not the Rhea Ripley we had in NXT.
No.
And I think they're confused behind the scenes with what to do with her, how to present her, how to script her, how to, book her. A lot of it is just laziness, in my opinion, as well. But I think she's confused. And she doesn't. I know she said in even interviews where she's always had a confidence issue. Like she's trying to get up to par with like what she thinks she has subpar promos and that type of thing. And she's trying to get those elements of her character across on TV. And I think that, for somebody that's trying to grow with that at the same time when you're a little bit confused as to the exact direction of what you're doing, how can you make it good? And I can very very much see them taking the belt off her at Hell in the Cell and putting it on Charlotte.
I unfortunately, I don't want that to be the case. But you're probably fucking right, man.
Yeah. Sorry, I gotta get Matthew in.
Take him back.
Yeah.
Take him back.
I got it.
Man, my problem with it is that you just pulled the trigger too soon on Rhea.
I don't even think that's what it is. I just think that you needed to present her in a completely different, brutal manner if you were going to pull the trigger on her that soon.
But that's the thing, is they never gave her the opportunity to. What they needed to do was last year, she needed to beat Charlotte at WrestleMania while still on NXT.
That was the biggest flaw to begin with, wasn't it?
Yes.
Really? Yeah. And now we're almost double wronging those wrongs is what it feels like to me.
It's like three wrongs make it even more wrong.
Yeah. We're talking, obviously, welcome back, Matthew. We're talking a little bit about the announcement that Rhea Ripley will be facing Charlotte Flair at Hell in the Cell. We both said that logically this match, it's listed as a singles match currently, but logically that match becomes a Hell in a Cell match by the time it gets there. You are muted still, by the way. I don't know if you've noticed. There you go. And your thoughts on what they're doing with Rhea, because I think we're all in agreement. I would assume that it's not been a great start for her as a champion or with her run on Raw.
No, they're fucking it up like they fucked up everyone else that they brought up from NXT and tried to make a star. And,
right.
I mean,
they tinkered with it too much.
Charlotte.
Yeah. Besides Charlotte, well, they've also fucked that up too because we're all sick of her.
Oh yeah,
that's true. I mean, look, so like Becky, Charlotte, Bayley, and Sasha all are the prime examples, but it has taken them years to get to the point where they are established main event roster stars, the same as Roman, same as fucking
and it feels
Seth.
like they did that more themselves than the booking did it for them. Like they kind of got themselves over in a lot of ways, and
they got saddled with a lot of matches together, and they were just like, you know what, we're gonna go out and we're gonna burn the fucking house down.
And they can't help but like us at the end of the day because we're putting on these bangers, and people will just gravitate towards those bangers, and they'll like us.
Yeah,
like,
who else is going to? Natalia and Tamina?
Exactly.
So, I mean, someone has to do it, right?
Right.
at a certain point, and they stepped up and they did it, but they don't have the. If you don't build that division out, and I mean, we all talked about this when they won at with Mania with what they did. I mean, that this was a chance for them to actually push the women's brand, which we've all said AEW has been lacking and it's been stale in WWE for a while. This was the chance, and now that
NXT,
they're back
the
to
only
that
one doing
same
it.
booking, and now that they're back to that same booking, they're just falling back onto what they know. And I get it that Charlotte was gone for a while. I get it that she hasn't had a title. I get all those things, but that doesn't mean just by default you have to fucking do it and ruin other stars.
Right.
No,
I completely agree.
And Duncan made the great point that it's not like you're seeing Bianca tarnished on SmackDown in the same way that Rhea is. Like Bianca, they're building very big. They're building in a big way. I also want to remind you that just a few weeks ago, Rhea was being presented as a heel.
Yeah.
Now she's going into a match against Charlotte Flair, who is clearly being presented as a heel. So we've got to assume that the transition has kind of happened with now Rhea is a face, and as much as that doesn't exist anymore, all that stuff, it does. It does.
It sure does.
It sure does, and especially in WWE. So when it comes to those types of things, I mean, I guess I'm supposed to be cheering Rhea, but you've given me no reason to. And after the match she had last night, where they had this weird ass, beat the clock type thing to beat Nikki Cross and all that, Charlotte said that she would do it, and then Rhea's like, "No, don't do that." Well, I bet you can't do it, and so now you've got now she's gonna do that, which is like a total heel move, and then fucks it all up and doesn't do it. Who does this help? Who does this help?
I don't
No one.
think anybody. Yeah, exactly.
I mean, maybe you could argue Charlotte, but that would be the only person who wasn't in the match. But that's literally the only person that this could theoretically benefit.
Yeah.
Yeah. And even her gear then last night made it seem like she was more face-ish.
Oh,
right?
Rhea's, yeah.
Yeah.
Remind me? What was she?
It was white and fucking blue and gold or something.
Yeah. She was in that one. Yeah, I've seen her in that before, but
her Mania was the one she wore at Mania last year, wasn't it?
I think you're right.
The white and blue and gold.
She definitely wore white, and it was weird. Yeah.
It was. Yeah, it just seemed like it was different. I felt like that was maybe that was it, but I don't know. It's just I don't know. The whole clock thing was fucking stupid.
Odd.
It just.
I mean, look, I will say, I love Nikki Cross, so I'm glad that she got her little moment to be on TV and do her thing, because she's a fucking whack job and I love her.
Yep.
But other than that, it was bad, and it made Charlotte look bad, and it made Rhea look bad, and it didn't make Nikki look bad, but it didn't make her look good.
No, there's
a
lot of weirdness going on there, and I wonder. I still, part of me thinks, is this because just Lacey Evans and all that pregnancy stuff? Maybe,
I think that fucked up a lot.
I think it threw some wrenches in the gears or what have you. But if you've got a promotion that one person it revolves around, you're doing it wrong, right? Cause you can't think of it like that, because we know how wrestling is. People get hurt all the time. There's no
or pregnant, Becky or whatever. So it's just you gotta have
or
irons
Lacey,
in the fire.
Right?
Yeah.
And so, but also, I mean, I'm sure you guys have read, or heard Ric Flair talking about how weird it was for him to be in that angle, and he didn't really like it. So I'm curious how far that would have actually gone. Beyond what we had already seen.
Oh,
I mean, it would have brought the match together with Charlotte and Lacey. But beyond that, the other question I have is, when does Becky make the comeback?
I still think
They're
we
about
gotta
to have live audiences.
Yeah, I still think that's not till next year for some reason. I mean, she is fresh off the kid. She's not gonna want to hop right in there straight away. And
SummerSlam.
I mean, it's possible, but Seth's in big programs right now too, in a big program.
Wearing the worst fucking suits.
He's got those drippy ass suits. He's trying to.
Yeah, but they're drippy in all the wrong.
I love it.
Ways.
I love it. I love it.
Yeah, but you would love it.
Yeah. It's so terrible. It's good. I love it. I know.
It's so terrible. It's terrible.
I love it.
He's just biting on everybody else that actually has style.
No, I think that's the point. I think he gets it.
I know it's the point.
I think he gets it. Yeah. He knows he looks stupid. Like that's part.
He's got like a little bit of like Joker in him. I see. With those suits.
Yeah. I know some of those suits that he's getting are like the ones that you find on like Facebook Wish ads, like that are literally like $60, $70 made in Taiwan.
Yeah, Taiwan, not China.
Yeah, actually, quality in Taiwan. Here's a little better.
Yeah,
that's just what
I think.
But maybe you should have our boy Reginald take him fucking suit shopping.
That's it. He's got the real drip. Reggie's got the real drip.
There's an Instagram page I follow. It's called the Black Wrestling Alliance, and every week they do like a drip countdown of like all the best dressed, and Reggie's on there all the time,
as he should be. Did we talk about Reggie on air, or did we just talk about?
No, we talked about him off air. So we should talk about him and then do predictions.
Yeah, for sure. Because good old Reggie, we love Reggie. He's a friend of the show. Now it seems like, well, I don't know what's going on, but I'm sensing there might be some voodoo or some spooky shit, and I think.
And look, I'm just gonna say that first off, Shayna be tripping. Shayna be tripping. Like, come on, girl. You know Reggie don't play like that. Like, come on. You don't need to be going out of your way to try and break Reggie's arm and shit. You
exactly
mean ass. But yeah, Reggie has been damn near getting set on fire the last couple weeks.
That's not nice. Don't do that to our Reggie.
Don't do that to Reg.
Come on. Yeah, no, I'm not a fan of him almost being set on fire. I am a fan at the prospect of an actual match with him and Shayna Baszler next week.
Here's the thing. Do you think they're gonna, because it's Shayna, do you think they're gonna let him actually like get some moves
have a real intergender match, not the Cirque du Soleil intergender match?
He'll get a couple moves. It won't be a real match. He'll still do his parkour.
Yep.
But he's gonna. I think they'll let him get a couple of shots in.
I don't think they will. I think it's going to be exactly the same as the ones that we've seen.
I don't think they'll let him get a couple of shots. He'll probably get a couple of moves though. I can see him like doing a backflip into a DDT or something, like, and just I can see it happening only because of the precedent has been set by Triple H and Ronda Rousey having,
that is a good point. That did happen. That did definitely happen.
It's not like WWE hasn't done it. And if they want to get Reggie over more, you got to have him actually have some sort of physical confrontations.
Unfortunately, I still don't think they do it. And I think that the only offense that he'll get will be jumping out of the way and Shayna running into the corner and that type of stuff. Like, he'll get offense but never actually have to put a finger on the person.
I think he will win through supernatural fuckery.
Oh, that's a good call. I
think that that's my guess, because
that he's always getting the voodooed by Bliss, and Bliss
I don't know if it's that or if Shayna's getting the voodoo, but like, you have to look at the people who have been involved when Reggie has almost been set on fire, right? Like, Nia's been there, Shayna's been there, Reggie's been there. Like, they're sort of the common denominator.
Yep.
I mean, I suppose Natty too, right? Like, so there's so there is still mystery there. So it'll be interesting to see how it goes down. I think that I can see Reggie getting the win.
I would like that. I mean, a lot of people, I think, will dislike that because
The most devastating move in all of sports entertainment, the surprise roll-up.
the surprise roll up. There is that, and that's not gonna, hurt Shayna or look like he's beating up Shayna, right? Like with the whole that type of thing.
Right.
So you could do
Exactly.
it that way. Yeah, you could absolutely do that. I just think so many people are so annoyed with, and rightfully so, of how poorly booked Shayna has been on the main roster. That every loss that she gets at the moment, they're just, what are they doing, right? Like,
First of all,
and Shayna should be in the main event title picture of either program. You could put her on either, and you could make something work. And why they're not doing that is beyond me.
Because they didn't see it in her the same as they don't see it in Rhea.
Probably.
They don't, dude. Like,
Shayna's getting old too. Shayna's getting old for a female wrestler.
I also find
no offense,
Shayna Baszler more intimidating than Ronda Rousey, personally.
I think I'd agree with that. I'd agree with that.
I'd 100% agree with that.
Because
she doesn't fucking smile, and when she does, it's menacing.
Exactly. So Shayna, for some reason, they just didn't see her like they booked her as this legitimate killer and then jobbed her out.
She could have been. Do you think in a world where the Ronda thing wasn't going on at the same time, that maybe she got lost in that shuffle because of Ronda? Something that we would have thought maybe, oh, great, they can bring up the horsewomen and all that sort of thing, right? Like they can do something with that. But because of like how big Ronda was, that Shayna maybe got overshadowed.
Yeah.
It feels that way a bit.
I could definitely see that. And I think the other two horsewomen weren't ready to be called up to the main roster.
No.
The MMA horsewomen, that is.
Yes.
So you lost that opportunity to have the MMA horsewomen versus the NXT horsewomen.
Yep.
And just like, Shayna got lost in the shuffle.
And they're both released now, right? Like I think both the other MMA horsewomen are now released.
Duke was released, but Marina Shafir is Roddy Strong's wife.
Okay.
So I don't think she's been released, but she's just momming.
Gotcha.
Well, and I think for Shayna, like if you're gonna book her as a legitimate threat because she looks like one and is one, you have to have her fucking steamroll everyone, right?
Mm-hmm.
And
they had the right idea with Extreme Rule or the Elimination Chamber, right? Like they had the right idea.
They're not ready to fucking do. Like she has to be the one. She's got to be the one. She's got to be the fucking like female version of fucking Lesnar or something like that, right?
She needs to snap and turn on Nia.
Yeah.
And like choke and like dominate Nia. You know what I mean? Like legitimately dominate Nia a couple of times and then be like, who else wants some? And then just like you say, roll them over.
I like it.
And I don't think that I like that too. I just don't think that they're willing to do that. I think Vince isn't behind it. And I don't know if it's just Vince. And I don't know if it's just Vince or if it's just like the way women's wrestling is done. But she doesn't fit the picture of like a Charlotte Flair right now with like all of the work that she's had done and things like that. And like, she's not like your typical gorgeous
blonde
lady
beauty
of wrestling.
Right.
She's a fucking badass who will beat your ass fucking woman who doesn't take fucking shit. And that shouldn't be taken away from her. But I think maybe in creative and possibly Vince's mind, like he would be looking for that in a male, but I don't think he's looking for that in a female.
I think 100% right. I also think that Vince has a bit of an unhealthy or confused relationship with the MMA meets pro wrestling style. I think that he loves it at times and can't stand it at times. Like there's times where they get, I think when they get a little bit too technical, sometimes he gets mad at it, and you can see that in the ring styles of even Rousey in the few matches that she had. At first, I mean, it was all these crazy like twists, turn you, lock you up into all these crazy things, right?
Mm-hmm.
As time went on, she started throwing more strikes, started doing a lot of that. When was the last time you saw Shayna Baszler do some of the shit that she did in NXT with like the amazing reversals and counters and into other submissions, which she was just killer at and known for? I even would go ahead and say that Vince is a little bit like doesn't like submission style wrestling as much as he likes, you know, your more brutish, I would suppose, you know, beat 'em up style. I think that you could make that argument. I like, and when it comes to the MMA side of things, maybe there is that little bit of, I don't know, animosity that this other company started a real fighting league and all that type of thing that dates back to way back when, you know, like it wouldn't surprise me. Yeah, well, exactly. I mean, it's come on, like, could we? It's
Vince. We know
it's not unbelievable. It's not unbelievable.
No, it's not out of the realm of fucking possibility.
Absolutely not. Do we want to hop into some predictions? Because I know.
Let's hop into predictions.
Yeah, because I know you
might. On the 2-year anniversary.
Dude, we didn't even mention this. Yes, 2 years. Go ahead, Duncan. Announce it.
2 years ago, on this very, looking at the poster right in front of me.
Got my ticket on the wall.
On this very day, the three of us and my lovely wife Kelsey, we were in Las Vegas, 4th row at the MGM Garden Arena for the inaugural Double or Nothing event by All Elite Wrestling, and I'm not even gonna lie, it was one of the best damn wrestling shows I've ever been to.
I think it. I was gonna ask you this because I will go ahead and say it right now. It might have not have been. No, it was. It was the best and my favorite wrestling show that I've ever been to. I will go out on a limb and say that.
Yeah. I mean, I had a lot of fun at bar wrestling, but as far as overall, like, just unforgettable experience.
I mean, and it made it so much better with being with you guys.
Yeah, like, exactly. Like, we went as a show, you know, like we went as friends in a show, and it was really cool to be there. And like, there were some great matches, and like, it's Double or Nothing and All In are tied for me.
Yeah,
for me.
Well, you guys went. I wasn't able to go to that, obviously.
No, you were there in spirit.
Was indeed
and
I got the shirt because you guys are. And you guys got me the shirt, so it makes me feel like I was there. But yeah, I can imagine why the two would be so similar. You know, in experience, it's. Well, what about you?
Well, and I think there was, you know, the All In was the start of possibly something, so it was historic in its own sense and exciting in its own sense, and allowed like other things to kind of happen, whereas Double or Nothing, that inaugural one, was like, this is going to be like the monument to, we are starting, you know, like an established, right?
Yeah, you know? They're great and historic on their own level,
in their own rights, right? They both have so many, and like I think it was, I mean, from the moment, I mean, Owen and I planning and getting in early to come find you and
to
surprise
you guys,
fucking out of nowhere. You didn't think we were getting in until the next day. Then
that was great. Like, legitimately, I haven't been got like that, like surprised like that in years.
You didn't even know what to say. You were like, we thought you were gonna like scream or something. You were just like,
I was
like,
so
like fucking froze.
floored
we
to
just kind
see
of like
you guys. Yeah.
Well, we had to pull all these tricks too. Like, I'm texting.
Yeah, like you're trying to get me to give up
like,
precious information.
We had to go through her. Like, we were like, how are we gonna find him in fucking Las Vegas?
Yeah,
but we did.
And you guys,
you
did.
Yeah,
and you did, and
I don't even remember how we did, but we did.
I tricked him.
I remember exactly how you did. You guys were at Mecca, at Mecca West.
Yes.
You were at the Rainforest Cafe.
Yeah.
Oh, he ended up texting you. Yeah.
And Owen was messaging me. He's like,
I was doing a long con. I was doing a real long con because I was asking him about what's the food like in Vegas? Where would be a good place? You guys find anything
good to eat?
Yeah,
and I was like, oh yeah, we're at dinner now. And I was just like, this motherfucker is gonna make. Well, where you at? I might want to check it out tomorrow or something when we get in. And I was just like, oh, it's this buffet at this place. And as soon as I said where it was, boom.
I think we were in the taxi within
we left the Rainforest Cafe.
Yeah. Not that anybody cares about that but us.
They care.
But they care.
But regardless. But we also did. We interviewed all the wrestlers.
Oh, Starcast was fun as hell.
At the Starcast. You know, we did that. We
should
went to the
that.
show, and the show was just fucking really good show. I mean, you guys talked about Dustin and the blood and that last when you guys did the last show, and I mean, I felt it when you were talking about it. The way, like, the whole crowd was very fucking worried. Like, very fucking worried. Like, there was like a hush. Like, they say there was a hush. Like, there was a fucking hush over the crowd. I think everyone was like, do we call someone?
Yeah, there was like 18,000 people in there that were just
I don't know. Like, I'm pretty sure they got a doctor or an EMT here. I don't fucking know. But
we're all fucked up because it's
remember
Vegas,
when Moxley came out?
Dude,
that was fucking huge pop. Fucking pop.
Moxley came out and there was... you literally just see the crowd start rumbling over here in the corner.
We couldn't even like really make out what was going on. It was just like this chaos.
Until he got about a quarter halfway down and we're like, oh shit.
And then he did the whole thing on Omega, right? He did
on top of the
paradigm shift. It's now known, you know. Man.
Bret Hart fell off the ramp.
Bret Hart did fall off the ramp.
You know, but I think the whole thing was fucking great. Gumption Junction was born that night.
It was
Gumption Junction.
It was. I mean, so I think both of them in their own rights, because when Duncan and I went to All In too, it was just like the whole thing. The fucking Starcast. You got the fucking Iron Sheik tattoo. Like,
right.
I mean,
I'll never forget you like talking to Scott Hall, and they gave him a shirt, and he's just like, it's a bootleg, brother.
Yeah. Yeah. I was like, and remember I was just standing there like with him and Kevin Nash, and like they're like not talking to me, and then like he like goes in a closet and comes out with his NWO shirt and tells me it's a bootleg, and I'm like, cool, can I get my fucking picture? Like,
it was the weirdest shit.
Or do I get to keep this belt?
Yeah, like what is like. Yeah, they're talking about what they're doing later that night, and it was just so I'm just standing there holding their belts, like
it was the most awkward. And then like it was only a little bit less awkward when I went and took the picture next. Like it was just like weird.
Yeah, I can imagine. Man, both experiences fantastic.
So good.
And you know, even in the pandemic, Double or Nothing was a decent show last year, but I think this card this year is a lot better, and I think
it feels a lot more than 2 years ago.
It does it really does.
Usually I'm like, that feels like yesterday, but that feels like a fucking long time ago.
Well, 2020 has thrown out all sorts of like what time is.
Oh, the
like,
simulation is breaking down.
So don't even worry about it. By the way, NXT still on in the background. It's 10:06, so 6 minutes after their out time, and Killer Cross and Finn Balor still going at it.
Oh, that's right. It's the rematch.
It's the rematch, number 2. And from the little bits I've been able to peek over my shoulder, it seemed like they've had a lot better chemistry in this match than their takeover match.
That's dude, the takeover match was good though. Like not as much.
No, but they're I think they're real. I'm gonna have to watch this one back. Like, just telling you, I think they're really clicking, and I think that like there it is. Do you want the spoiler?
Yeah.
Killer Cross retains by way of, and you'll like this, Duncan. Finn Balor, I forget whatever hold he put him in, but he put him in his hold and made Finn Balor pass out. But the referee kind of actually did the hand thing. It was a little bit more subtle, but it was lower down. It wasn't like the full on like raise it super high up. No, it wasn't that. But he did it he did. Yeah.
That's the best though.
Yeah, it is.
Never gets old. That's awesome. Congratulations.
So that makes sense.
It's a big scary Killer Cross.
On our way to some motherfucking predictions.
Pretty solid card this year. Fuck.
Yes, that's what I'm saying. Like I'll put on some music for these predictions. Ladies and gentlemen, and now we present to you Ohno Wrestling's AEW Double or Nothing 2021 predictions.
God damn it, Fink.
Yeah, well, Fink, he has to show up if Sex Ferguson's around.
Well, that's true.
Anyway, boys, where do we even start? I guess we probably got to start at what I would assume is going to be the, what do they call it? It's not the kickoff show. It's the buy-in.
Le Bion.
Le
Yes.
Bion. And I don't know. They typically do the Casino Battle Royale on the buy-in.
I think that's what they've typically done.
Yeah, so we'll go with that.
All right, so we'll go with the CBR.
We got Christian Cage, Matt Sydal, Powerhouse Hobbs, Penta El Zero Mierdo, Jungle Boy, Matt Hardy, Mark Quinn, Isaiah Cassidy, The Blade, Evil Uno, Colt Cabana, Preston Vance, Chris Garrison, Brian Pillman Jr., Max Caster, Anthony Bowens, QT Marshall, Nick Camarado, Dustin Rhodes, Lee Johnson, and TBA. That's a lot of names. This is, of course, for a future AEW World Championship match. I suppose, Duncan, you get to go last, of course. And that is why I will just throw it out there, because I don't think there's any chance that it's not this guy. It's Christian Cage winning this match. What are you guys thinking?
You know, I think so too. I think if they do it, it has to be because it is a later down the road match for the title. It doesn't have to be like a right away shot. Yeah. I
know it went
like
for the low hanging fruit instantly.
Yeah, I know.
But...
You said it on the show on Friday night though, and I agree. It's like he's gonna outwork everybody, and if you're gonna outwork everybody, you outwork everybody.
This match is definitive of that.
Card, I was gonna say Buck Bagwell, but I think he's arrested.
Yeah, he's arrested and not looking good.
Yeah. Oh, by the way, we didn't report on that initially, but I'll tell you, like it's like okay. Wrestlers get DUIs, people get DUIs, things go fucked up in people's lives. But this dude had like 14 charges or something ridiculous.
Yeah.
Like
it was rough. I'm like, how the
driving on the wrong side of the road, like false information. Like he made all the mistakes. So
it was like hit and run, giving false information, open container, following too closely.
And if
my
I'm
favorite part of this though,
go ahead,
like my favorite part of the whole thing is that he was arrested in Cobb County, Georgia.
And
the British wrestling guys didn't know that it was a real place.
Oh,
they thought that it was a kayfabe place because of where the Big Boss Man was built from. And they were just...
It does sound... Yeah, I can get that. But if you've ever been to Georgia, you end up going through Cobb County, Georgia at some point. And every time you play the goddamn Big Boss Man's theme song as you're driving through, because that's what you do.
Well, if you ever come down to Cobb County, Georgia... Respect the law and order, just a hard time.
Hard time. I know what I'm doing as soon as we get off the show.
Guarantee.
Yeah.
Written by Jimmy Hart.
So, oh god damn it! What were we saying?
I'm gonna go Christian.
Christian, it is.
Christian
Who would be your? Your TBA in this? Yeah.
Yeah.
Ooh.
I mean, I guess you could have Daniel Bryan show up and he could win, but that would be it
would be hilarious.
Like who's been out for a while? Anyone?
That's a good question.
Wait, do you think Omega enters and then challenges himself?
That
has a match with himself and Cornette's heart explodes.
Yeah, his heart explodes.
That is not that's not the most insane booking I've ever heard, because that would be hilarious. It would work, and we've already seen him do shit like this before. So if he can have a match with the blow up doll, he can have a match with himself.
Is there anyone that we've thought was gonna go AEW, was AEW bound, that like hasn't shown and hasn't done anything? Like
Skrull?
I just don't think there's anyone
Marty Skrull would be the one, like, maybe that's on
Yeah,
that.
and I don't think a
feel
battle
like-
royale is where they would do that. If they
Not
were
on a
ever going
pre-show
to.
battle royal.
No.
I feel like Marty goes to NXT
Really?
before he goes to
We've talked about
AEW.
this. NXT
Yeah.
seems to fit him better.
Yeah. Dude, I don't even know because there hasn't been a whole lot of rumblings of people that are
No.
Yeah.
independent. I mean, what
It's
if
probably
it is
gonna be-
fucking Kurt Angle?
Wait. What if you have like
The big boss man, he's dead.
Rich Swan, and then he can re-challenge.
Or Moose.
Or Moose. I
Right?
like both those options, and that would actually be a really good way to finally have some Impact crossover onto AEW,
Right?
which they haven't done. I don't hate that at all. I still think it's tough to take away from Christian Cage.
Yeah,
I think
I-
so.
my
I
only-
think so too.
I think like Powerhouse Hobbs is one of the
He's
only
got a
ones
shot.
that.
He's definitely got a shot.
But I'm gonna go. Like I gotta go with the safe bet on this one.
I understand it. I understand it.
I think it's long term booking.
Yeah, I do too. And yeah, I mean, you're obviously going with Christian, I'm assuming.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Christian Cage.
But I also think with that one, just a point to be made. Of course, Matt Sydal is very good. Wasn't he the debut in the last Casino Battle Royale, or was that that might have been the ladder match? I can't remember.
No,
That
it was a big. Fuck, hold on, I'm just gonna look it up.
I think
for
it was
me,
the battle
it was
royal.
I feel like it was slightly whatever it was.
It was
It
the
was
battle
slightly
royal.
underwhelming. It was like cool, but not like.
Like
Well,
he was.
yeah, Andy fucked it up. Unfortunately, the botch.
It
It was
was a-
all out 2020.
battle royal.
Yeah.
Yeah, because All Ego Ethan Page was the brass
It was
ring.
in
Brass
the casino
ring guy.
battle. Yeah, it was the casino battle royal.
Yep. Which they have a match, and that would be a good one to actually just shoot right into.
Look
if
at
you
that.
wanna-
We're all segueing.
right
around this
segue
motherfucker.
right into it. It's a weird one to call. I think this is honestly one of the ones that does leave me hanging a little bit more, going back and forth. But Sting and Darby Allin versus Scorpio Sky and Ethan Page in a tag team match. I really want to see Sky and Ethan Page win this, but
I'll go first. I would like
Sure.
that too, but I don't think they brought Sting back to do his first in-ring appearance in front of people
to lose.
and to have him fucking job on like a mid-card.
Yeah. I have to agree with it, man, because Darby's still super hot even though he lost the title. I don't think it's just sad for Sky and Paige. Like hopefully they can make something work down the line. And I think they will, because I think they're both incredibly talented. It's just going to take a little bit of time, and they're going to be a perfect they're going to be a perfect product for the new third hour TV show. Like it's an act like that they need to, that they can highlight more on something like that show that isn't getting the, like they feel everything that they've done so far has felt very shoehorned in to just make sure we get him out there a little bit, make sure we get him in front of people and camera time and TV time. But is it really doing much? I don't know that it is.
Nope.
Yeah, so, and I just think that I don't know. I think this match isn't going to be great.
Yeah,
I think it's going to be clunky.
It'll be serviceable.
Yeah,
it's going to be serviceable, but it's going to be clunky, and it's going to be because of Sting.
Unfortunately, you're not wrong. So I'm also going with Sting and Darby mostly because I like writing S&D.
S&D, yeah. I just all right. We'll move. What do you guys think should be next on the card? How about this one? Hangman Adam Page versus Brian Cage with Taz. Singles match. And this one, again, another one that I can actually see this one going either way, to be honest. Like this one might be the most divisive match of the night for me. as to which way
I
it goes.
actually think this is going to be a really good match. In all
Yeah,
honesty,
I think it will
because
be
I
too.
think that because we've seen Brian Cage just fucking squash people. Even when he was doing it to Darby when Darby won, he just fucking tore through him, right? That's what he's done. I think Hangman is going to be the one to put up a fucking fight and get some offense on him for like a good few minutes at a time. You know, he's going to get tossed around, no doubt about it. But I think that he's also going to be the one to show that, and it's going to show a lot of strength.
Yeah, I have a feeling that this one's going to be a real showcase for Cage. And in my mind, we're already kind of still going down like that further, like, man, Hangman was so close, right? Getting to the top of the rankings, then getting beaten and taken down. This is still now further that decline, especially if he's not in the title picture right away. That's further down the line. I think Brian Cage takes this all day long, if I'm being honest. Matthew.
I mean, I see that. It makes sense.
Is Hangman do a win though? Like that would be the only thing.
I'm going Hangman.
Yeah.
Hangman has been trying to get back to that upper echelon, and I think that this would help get him there. And I think it could be done through a good showing through both of them, and possibly some fuckery with possibly Taz and Brian Cage having an outing. You know what I'm saying? Like that's the way you can kind of do it, which allows him to get a buckshot lariat or something like that
right
in because they're arguing or something like that. I don't know. So I'm going Hangman.
I too am going with the Hangman. I think that you have to split up Taz and Cage at some point. Like I think the Team Taz thing is, like they've already planted the seeds of dissent there. So
you guys are probably right. Yeah, but I'm going to stick to it.
It is what it is. It's, it's a legitimate 50-50 shot because I can see it going Cage 100%.
I mean, they surprised us the first time around, right? Like, so,
right.
Like, that we never thought that would have happened on Dynamite.
No, and that's legitimately why it's just like I'm flipping the coin.
And to avoid AEW, I guess my mentality is like, oh, maybe AEW is gonna try and shock us by avoiding the traditional 50-50 booking of WWE, and now have Cage win again, right? Like, because
absolutely, they very well could.
It just seems so obvious.
It could come down to
right.
Yeah.
I don't know.
And maybe it's a DQ. No, they don't really do DQs. So
I don't really know.
So yeah, we'll see. It is a very torn.
Go back and forth. Yeah, go back and forth. How about
what about Miro?
Miro, yeah, that's probably a middle of the card type of match about this time in the show. Miro.
Random note.
Yeah.
Because Lance Archer and Jake the Snake. The other night I watched the Shia LaBeouf film about the Downey Kid, the Peanut Butter Falcon.
Oh, okay. I have not seen that.
You seen this?
No.
So it's about this kid with Down syndrome, and he escapes and starts running away in Louisiana or Georgia or whatever, in in the swamps. Runs into Shia LaBeouf, who's basically just this dude who's running away from Yellow Wolf and some other dude because he burnt all their fucking crab fucking bins. And
the rapper guy, Yellow Wolf,
yeah,
that guy?
Yeah.
Okay.
And it's actually a pretty good movie. But the Down syndrome kid, his dream is to be fucking what's the guy's name? Southside Redneck or something like that. He's a wrestler. The kid loves pro wrestling. Fucking loves it. He wants to be a pro wrestler. So he's trying to get to this part, on this down and towards Florida off the Panhandle to get to this wrestling school. So he escaped this home that he was in, runs into Shia LaBeouf, and Shia LaBeouf's like, well, fuck, I'm an outlaw on the run too. I guess you're fucking coming with me.
I'll
And
take
he's
you
like,
to
I'm
wrestling
trying to get down
school.
here. This is on the way. You're gonna come with me. And they end up
No shit.
spoilers for everybody who's
Right.
listening, but they end up getting to where the wrestling school is, and fucking he ends up Jake the Snake is in the movie.
He's in the
and-
movie.
That's awesome.
Yeah, and Jake the Snake is the guy that he has to wrestle.
That's cool.
Yeah.
I will now have to watch this movie because
Right?
I've seen it on my thing, but I haven't checked it out.
Yeah, not a bad movie. The whole thing does revolve around the fact that he wants to be a pro wrestler.
Say it again. Peanut Butter Falcon, wasn't it?
Peanut Butter Falcon.
And that's the name that he gives himself as a.
Oh,
as a
that's his
wrestler.
wrestling
Maybe
name.
he's a
His
big
wrestling
fan
name's
of Peanut Butter Wolf, the DJ.
I would have
Maybe.
probably
hope
watched
so.
this movie ages ago had I known it had anything to do with wrestling.
Just put the word wrestling in the descriptor. Anyway, Miro versus...
Lance Archer. Also, it says here Miro or this is according to Wikipedia today, or Dante Martin. So I'm assuming they have a match, a jobber match on Friday because this week Dynamite isn't tomorrow
It's
on
on
Wednesday.
Friday.
It's on Friday.
Yeah,
So I'm
either that or
assuming-
maybe it's on like Dark or Dark Elevation.
Whatever,
or something.
doesn't matter. Miro is obviously going to win
Correct.
that, and this match is of course for the AEW TNT Championship. We discussed this a little bit last week, Duncan, and although it might seem very obvious that Miro would retain after becoming champion, so recently, I also think that Archer could like really use that. And whatever happens in this, I think there's fuckery to where there's a rematch and Archer wins it from him down the road. That's kind of my prediction, but I'm going to go with Miro as still retaining, even
You're
though
going with Miro Day.
Yeah, I think I'm going to go Miro Day on this because I think that this could be a feud that lasts a little bit longer and we'll eventually see Lance Archer with that title. That's my current position.
Yeah, I mean, I'm gonna go the same way too. I think that the way Miro got it was, I mean, we had talked about it. It was maybe time for Darby to give it up, but like it also felt a little rushed. Like as much as it was maybe time for Darby to drop the title, it felt a little rushed the way Miro got it in my mind.
That. Yeah.
And I think that Miro, him dropping it right now doesn't make a lot of sense.
No,
Doesn't make a lot of sense for Lance Archer to lose a bigger match like this, but he has lost matches like this before, so it makes somewhat a little more sense. I would like to see them push him more and like have him be a little bit more murdersome or murderous or whatever the fuck that is.
He's a very nice
But,
murderer lately, is he not? He's a very nice.
He's a very polite
nice
murderer.
Very polite
yeah.
murderer.
Very polite murder hawk.
Yeah.
But I think that, especially, do you remember those promos that he did before he started with like, those were such badass.
Where it was
promos.
just
Jake
like
the
throwing
Snake, and they
people
were,
out of
like,
the
in
ring,
field
like,
and, fucking
yeah.
fucking people. That was so fucking badass.
It was
man.
such good
You know
shit.
what?
You can say it.
AEW is so fucking good at that shit, and I will say, to an extent, the follow through does let me down. But like they did it with fucking Wardlow. Remember?
Yeah.
Like the promos for Wardlow before he actually came in.
Oh yeah.
That was fucking. I remember I was sitting there with good brother Jay Jansen down in Parker at his place, and we both were like,
who the fuck's this
Who
guy?
the fuck is this Wardlow guy? And we
Mhm.
were like, we were watching the promo on that
It
pay per
felt-
view, and we're like, this.
It
is
felt
fucking
very
awesome.
old. It felt very old school WWF as well, because it was a guy that you hadn't really heard of too much of on the indies, and you hadn't known anything about this person. It was brand new. It felt fresh. For me, Lance Archer was kind of that way too, because I didn't know him on the indies. I didn't know his work prior to joining AEW, and those are what wow, that excites me because it's like something very new, very fresh. I think with Wardlow, they've turned a bit of a corner on that now. I think they've shown his personality in a few promos and that they're developed. I think they're going to get there with him. Where Lance Archer, I'm actually a little bit more unsure of. To be honest, I don't know that Jake the Snake is bringing anything to him anymore. And I think
Don't think he is.
and
I was
think-
going to say that.
I think they probably need to just let Jake stay at home and
Yeah. Have him go back to living with Dallas or something. I don't know.
I don't know, but you know, Lance
got-
Lance Archer's not gaining anything from it. It's Jake always looks rough when he's out there, and I think that Lance, like, he's a decent enough promo on his own. I don't think you need to have Jake there now.
No, he needs
now that
to
he's
start
established
getting-
a bit more.
Yeah, he needs to just start getting more comfortable on his own.
Yeah,
you're going Miro?
agree.
Yeah, I think
I'm going Miro.
I'm
But
going Miro.
I will say, as we're getting out of that, I will say the one thing I'm mostly taking away from that now that I'm thinking about is AEW has been really good on their production, on like their introduction to wrestlers and things like that. But like we've said it, and we saw two big flops in what they've done in their production with the death match and such.
Right.
But like, they need to bring that level of production to their live show, their camera work, whoever's directing it, like those type, like, because they do a great job cinematically. We even saw it with that Darby Sting. What was it?
Even
Like,
the
that was
Stadium
fucking great.
Stampede.
Like,
Even stuff like
that was
that.
great too. So like, how they need to bring that level to
I wonder
their
what
fucking live.
I wonder what the
production.
disconnect is, and why is it my friend Bryce who works for them? Like,
It's 100% Bryce.
It's
and
always
because
Bryce's
He's a
fault.
jobber.
Yeah. Anytime a microphone dies or anything like that, or a
Bryce.
bad camera cut, just you all say it along with, you're allowed to because he is my friend. But you're as ONW, as Ohno Wrestling Podcast listeners, every time you see a flub in production at all,
Production flub, not an in-ring botch.
Damn you, I'm holding up a sign that says "Damn it, Bryce."
you know what? I think you
I
should.
hope-
I think you should. I'm
gonna make sign. I'm gonna make shirts.
we should make shirts. We'll have stickers. We'll hand them out. Damn it,
I'll have,
Bryce.
the three of us will have "Damn it, Bryce."
Yeah,
signs.
yeah. And then next
We'll
show,
start a
and then the
chant,
next,
damn.
the Damn It Bryce section where we hand out the pieces of
Yeah.
paper, like the Cesaro section, where the Damn It Bryce section.
It'll
where
just
we
say /Bryce.
Yeah, /Bryce. Oh no! Did my internet got? Oh, my internet. No, what happened? I lost you both.